Welcome to the 2021 EP Gives. Live from our studio in the Twin Cities, here is our host, Tom Butler, anchor for Fox 9 Morning News and a proud Eden Prairie resident.
Well, good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. I am so excited to be your host for what promises to be an inspiring and fun EP Gives event. And tonight, we're also celebrating the Eden Prairie Community Foundation's 40th anniversary of making a difference in our community. As someone who lives and works in Eden Prairie, Fox 9, of course, I know what a great community we have and how important it is to create a place where everyone thrives. I can't believe we've lived in EP for almost 16 years now. Our daughters have grown up here from Cedar Ridge Elementary to being Eagles at Eden Prairie High School. And I think what underscored it for me on moving to Eden Prairie was a couple years ago at Thanksgiving when I asked, we always go around, what are you thankful for? And my youngest daughter, Gracie, said, Dad, I'm thankful I got to grow up in Eden Prairie. That got me. It still gets me. No one in Eden Prairie addresses the wide range of community needs like the Eden Prairie Community Foundation does, strengthening community services while helping people who face food insecurity, homelessness, violence, or abuse, and other challenges. What an important cause we can all support. The Foundation's 40 years of impact and support have been possible because of the generosity of community members like you. So tonight is all about celebrating working together to meet even more community needs as we help launch Eden Prairie Community Foundation into the next 40 years. We have a great program lined up for you, so sit back and relax. Tonight, we will share stories of Eden Prairie residents and organizations who have been helped because Eden Prairie has had a community foundation. At this time, I am pleased to introduce Jim Fahey, our fundraising host for this evening. And Jim is a longtime friend of the Eden Prairie Community Foundation. Welcome, Jim, to the stage. Nice to have you here.
Thank you, Tom. I'm so happy to be here. I've been honored to be a part of EP Gives for going on 10 years now. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in tonight, for making a difference for Eden Prairie. The financial support from generous donors like you is what makes the Foundation's work possible. Our goal this evening is to work together to raise $100,000 to invest in the most pressing community needs. And I am pleased to announce that so far we have raised $66,076. You can give at any time this evening, and it's easy to do. And I am thrilled to announce that thanks to a number of local supporters, we have a $15,000 match to double the impact of tonight's giving. That means that every gift made this evening, up to a total of $15,000, will be matched dollar for dollar. Another way to make a difference by participating is in our auction. You have until 9 p.m. tonight to bid on our exciting lineup of more than 30 items. Tom, let's hit the highlights of a couple of our amazing auction items.
Can't wait. Let's do it. This is a great one. Pants Brewing has put together an awesome brewing package for 6 people. This super fun opportunity includes a private brewing class and a party at Fat Pants, complete with snacks and, of course, beverages to enjoy while you're making your own beer. Each person in your party will receive a case of crowlers or 2 growlers filled with your craft brew. You can name your special beer, and listen to this, the beer you brew will be on tap at Fat Pants. To top it off, proceeds from the beer sales will be donated to the Eden Prairie Community Foundation.
This package is like a win-win-win-win.
Right? There's all the boxes.
There's food, there's beer, they're your friends.
Right.
You're at a local establishment, and then when it's all over, the beer that you brewed continues to raise funds for the foundation.
You get the bragging rights.
This is cool.
I like it too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, good stuff.
What about our next item?
All right, let's see what we have next up. This is an incredible vacation package for 2 people. It features a 5-day, 4-night stay at the Fairmont Chateau Whistle Alpine Resort in BC. That's British Columbia. It's nestled at the base of Blackcomb Mountain. The resort defines mountain luxury. Just look at these images. And I like the first one especially. but doesn't the chateau look beautiful? Features include the ski-in and ski-out convenience, pampering spa, and of course, for this time of year, on-site golf course. Just looks fabulous.
All of those great amenities in one of the most beautiful places in North America.
I was telling you, I grew up in Washington State, and BC is just right there to the north, and one of the prettiest places I've ever been. Just
Absolutely. Amazing space.
Yeah.
We're off to a great start.
Yeah.
Please keep those donations and auction bids coming in.
All right, so over the past years, the foundation has supported so many important projects, including the Eden Prairie Veterans Memorial, the Eden Prairie Miracle League Field, which is a baseball field accessible for people who have disabilities, and the Sidney Gallagher Memorial Pool. I know Steve and Diane so well and think of them so often. Great friends. The foundation also plays a significant role in supporting the local arts and our parks. So now let's hear from some of our community members and what they have to say about the Eden Prairie Community Foundation.
When I think of the Eden Prairie Community Foundation, words come to mind like collaboration, the heart and soul of the community, just being that agency that is always there for people in need and for other nonprofits in need. I think of leadership and support for all these other organizations and the people of Eden Prairie.
Started off, you helped us with shelving. You helped us buy a van. You helped us with computers. You've helped us with 13 or 14 grants over these years, which has been huge. The last one was massive. You gave us $9,000 to buy beds. We were able to buy 59 beds, and I figure that's about 90 people are now off the floor because of that.
We are certainly grateful for the support from the Eden Prairie Foundation and their donor-advised funds. We use philanthropy and donations here at Mission to help subsidize our care for our low-income pet owners. What that looks like is general operating funds. In particular, we received a grant from the donor-advised funds to help facilitate a new phone system. We literally get hundreds of calls daily, and the new phone system helped us manage those calls and gave us a chance to field those calls daily. That was something that we really needed.
We ask and you guys help us.
The foundation's support has benefited students immensely because we have a small space that we like to work in and come to as students to help each other. And before we were paying the rent out of our own pockets, but now the foundation's grant has helped us pay for the rent and utilities.
Well, today the foundation is, some 40 years later, still a very vital part of this community and a growing vital part. And I think it's one that people who are here are looking to for direction and leadership and providing the right type of things to make a community the spectacular community that it can be, which Eden Prairie is. Eden Prairie is a community that is unlike no other in the metropolitan area, in my opinion, because it has jobs. It's not truly a suburb, it's really a standalone community. It has jobs, all levels of housing, and that effort is being enhanced. And it has good public safety. It has a wonderful nonprofit community. And I think the foundation is looked to bring that together and as we go forward.
The foundation has been huge. An organization like this makes a massive difference to nonprofits because there's so many things that we would need but don't have the funding for. And to be able to have an organization like the foundation to lean on, to help us is just huge.
Hi, I'm Mark Weber, Executive Director of the Foundation. Thank you so much for joining us for this virtual gathering and 40th anniversary celebration. I've been thrilled to serve as your Community Foundation Director for nearly 8 years. I've also been lucky to live in Eden Prairie since 1984 and to raise a family here. And I've had a long career in community journalism that gave me an eyewitness look at the Foundation's beginning 40 years ago.
And I'm Tina Palmer, the chair of the Foundation's Board of Directors. I'm proud to have been a resident of Eden Prairie for more than 20 years. I happen to think we live in the greatest city in Minnesota, and I'm so pleased to have you joining us tonight to celebrate the work of the Eden Prairie Community Foundation.
Without a doubt, the last 14 months have been incredibly challenging for a multitude of reasons. Our neighbors who were already struggling have, in many cases, faced additional hardships. The foundation has been working hard to make sure Eden Prairie gets through this unprecedented, challenging time without leaving families behind. As an example, within 3 days of the United States government declaring a national emergency because of the pandemic, the foundation started the COVID-19 Response Fund. Thanks to our generous community, the Eden Prairie Community Foundation has been able to provide emergency assistance such as food for families, rental assistance, PPE equipment, counseling, and much more in response to this public health crisis.
Over the years, the Eden Prairie Community Foundation has impacted thousands of residents. We've partnered with more than 100 nonprofits and agencies serving our community. Some of the many needs our foundation has addressed include care and services for victims of domestic violence, people living with disabilities, and low-income seniors who are striving to remain in their homes. One of many examples of important partnerships happened just a few years ago when we joined with other organizations to study homelessness. The outcome was the formation of a wonderful new nonprofit called Onward Eden Prairie, which provides housing and support services for homeless youth in our community. The Eden Prairie Community Foundation was proud to play a leadership role in launching this organization.
A big focus of our work is ensuring that the most basic and critical needs of individuals and families are being met. That's why we partner with organizations such as PROP, which is a nonprofit that provides direct social services to many neighbors. PROP was among the first organizations to benefit from the foundation's support, and this partnership continues.
Another way the foundation makes a difference is by investing in our community's youth. As an example, each year the foundation awards the Dr. Jean Harris Scholarship to a high school senior for outstanding work in areas of diversity and human rights. The scholarship was created in honor of Dr. Harris, who was the first female mayor of Eden Prairie and our community's first Black mayor. Dr. Harris did so much to make our community a welcoming place, and I am honored to introduce you to the newest Jean Harris Scholar, Ikra Salat.
When Dr. Jean Harris was mayor of Eden Prairie, she liked to talk about her 10 lessons of life. They are immortalized at the Dr. Jean Harris Gathering Bridge at Purgatory Creek Park. And one of her lessons is that people should be active and engaged in their community, and not just bystanders. The foundation has tried to keep that spirit alive by recognizing high school seniors who are active and involved, especially in areas like diversity, inclusion, and human rights. That perfectly describes the newest winner of our Dr. Jean Harris Scholarship Award.
I'm Ikra Salat, and I'm a Somali Muslim American student at the Eden Prairie High School.
Like Jean Harris did at medical school in Virginia and as mayor of Eden Prairie, Ikra has worked hard to make sure the leadership around her reflects the community at large.
I am a part of Dare to Be Real, which is an anti-racist club at the high school. We do a lot with faculty and administration to talk about how they can improve for the students of color at our school. We also just unpack really big issues that are going on. I'm also the student council president, which might not sound like it has directly things to do with the scholarship, but I think that when I walked into the high school my freshman year, I looked at all of the leadership positions and they were filled with kids that didn't necessarily look like me and that weren't representative of Eden Prairie in our high school. And I think over time, we have done a better job as a high school filling those positions and just like clubs like student council with kids that look more representative like of the student body. And I'm honored to be a part of that change.
Ikra is being recognized in many ways at Eden Prairie High School, and now we're proud to add Jean Harris Scholar to that list.
I was super excited. I know that a bunch of qualified kids probably applied, and I was honored to be named the scholarship recipient. I was elated. It was really exciting.
Ikra will be studying health sciences on the pre-medicine track next year at Northeastern University in Boston. That's where her student account will include the $1,500 scholarship award from this foundation. We wish her good luck and look forward to all of her accomplishments. The foundation is also proud to announce that 2 longtime generous supporters have left nearly $200,000 from their estate to the foundation so that the Jean Harris Scholarship will continue to be awarded for many, many years to come. Mary Jane and Basil Wisner passed away in 2020, but their legacy and support for a vibrant, diverse Eden Prairie will live on through the Dr. Jean Harris Scholarship at the foundation.
Wow, what a great story. And Ikra, you are obviously very deserving of this year's Jean Harris Scholarship. We wish you all the best in Boston next year. We know you're going to do great things. We'll keep tabs on you too. None of the foundation's work happens without community support. And speaking of support, we are so grateful for the EP Give sponsors. So thank you to Eaton for their leadership and support as our platinum sponsor. We are also grateful to our gold sponsor, Gregerson, Rossau, Johnson, Nyland, for their generosity. Thanks so much. A huge thanks also to our silver sponsors. And we also appreciate our bronze sponsors and media sponsors. So thank you to all of these businesses and individuals for their partnerships in making Eden Prairie a better community for all of us. And Jim, good to have you back on the stage as well.
Thank you. We are grateful to the support of our sponsors. And we are grateful for each and every gift made towards our overall goal of $100,000. As a matter of fact, how about an update? Let's bring that tote board up. And you can see we've moved just a little bit. We are at 69% of our goal, $69,000. We have a long way to go.
We're getting there.
But what a great start.
Very good.
You can give at any time this evening, and we appreciate you being as generous as possible. Tom, let's share the details of a couple more of our packages.
All right, let's do it. Yeah, this is a one-of-a-kind experience hosted by your tour guides and resident historians, Mayor Ron Case himself, and Eden Prairie Historical Society President Kathy Case. Ron and Kathy will guide you and your party of up to 12 guests on a 4-hour historical tour on a charming Southwest Transit trolley bus. Boxed lunches are provided by Smith Coffee and Cafe. What a great experience for you and some of your best friends.
This is a wonderful gift because you get to be a tourist in your own hometown.
Right.
And you're going to learn things about Eden Prairie and its rich farming history in the Southwest Metro and how it's grown. And I wish I could come along. Maybe you should invite me if you would.
That'd be nice. But you're right. It's something you would normally do in the place in which you live.
That's right.
And that's tour your own great history.
Gift. And great hosts as well.
Yeah.
What else do we have?
Okay, let's take a look. We have a featured item. It's a trip for two to one of our country's most romantic and historic cities. We were just there as a family a couple of years ago, Savannah, Georgia. It is incredible. You will be pampered guests for 4 days and 3 nights. That's at the Andaz Savannah Hotel, which is perfectly located for exploring this incredible, charming city. The package includes food tour and also features stops and tastings at 6 restaurants. And we just fell in love with that area. I know you and your wife and family have been there many times too.
We love Savannah. Try to get there every few years. We love history.
Right.
We love architectural features of all the great buildings.
Yeah.
And it's truly a great experience. If you've never been there, it's a great place to go.
Unique squares, the way it's
right.
built, and it's really a neat place to explore.
And Southern hospitality at its best.
The best,
That's for
right.
sure. Remember, we have over 30 great auction items. There are truly something for everyone. So keep those bids coming in, and I promise you, if any of you bid too much, I'll come back on here and I'll tell you. But until then, just keep bidding. Now let's welcome Tina back to the stage.
Great job, Jim and Tom. I have to say, I've been bidding fast and furious for nearly a week now on so many great items. I am super excited about the 4-course chef's experience at Tavern 4 and 5. And how about that cool behind-the-scenes tour at the Eden Prairie Police Department and a lunch with Chief Weber, and the tour of the fire station and a ride on a fire truck with the Eden Prairie Fire Department. What fun. And I have to echo what the guys were saying about Savannah. It's a fantastic place. It's one of my very favorite places to visit. Like Jim and Tom, I've been there many times. You will love it. And many of us will be able to give you lots of tips on where you can go and visit and eat in Savannah. It'll be a great experience. I want to take a minute to recognize our small but mighty Eden Prairie Gives Committee, who was instrumental in securing our wonderful auction items and putting together this entire virtual event. And I want to express our gratitude to our EP Gives Committee Chair, Mary Mackmiller, who has made this event such a great success for so many years. Thank you, Mary. And we are so grateful to our more than 40 ambassadors who worked so hard to make tonight's event a success. This is an amazing group of people who have served as board members, committee members, and volunteers for the Eden Prairie Community Foundation over the last 40 years. Thank you all so much for everything you've done to help those in our community. Finally, I am pleased to recognize the organizations that are receiving the 2021 grants from the Eden Prairie Community Foundation. These organizations serve a large cross-section of Eden Prairie residents and are hard at work meeting critical needs in our community. This includes tutoring for kids ranging from preschoolers to teens, mental health support, and access to healthy food and safe housing. One of the foundation's partners is the Eden Prairie chapter of Treehouse, an organization which provides support and mentoring to local teenagers. I am pleased to introduce Treehouse Area Director and Eden Prairie resident, Tammy Ryder Harms.
I founded Eden Prairie Treehouse because my own daughter was really struggling. She had a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression, a lot of suicidal thoughts. And I had tried like all of the different mental health programs that were out there to support her, and nothing seemed to really stick or really help her. I don't know, imagine if you can being a parent and see, I get emotional, but going to bed at night, and if you're not laying next to your daughter to make sure that she stays alive, wondering if you're going to wake up in the morning and if she's going to be alive or not. She ended up going to Integrated Arts Academy in Chaska, and fortunate for us, Treehouse was right across the street. There was a Chaska Treehouse program. When my daughter started there, she was the kid with the hoodie on, the AirPods in, not wanting to be alive, not wanting to be in school. I didn't know if I'd get her graduated or if I could keep her alive. And so with Treehouse, just learning the Treehouse truths, that you're lovable, capable, and worthwhile, that you're loved without strings and you're never alone, and that you have a future, she started to turn around, and she ended up like getting a job at Caribou. She was a shift manager by the time the middle of the year in January. She joined the cooking competition team and won one of 2 state awards. She ended up graduating as the valedictorian of that school. So I was like, what is this Treehouse thing? And why don't we have it in Eden Prairie? So I have to give a ton of credit to Treehouse. I was able to donate 6 months of my time, full time, to lay the groundwork. But then the critical component is just the support that we received in Eden Prairie that made starting this Eden Prairie Treehouse possible. And the most important thing was just 2 years ago at the Gala for the Eden Prairie Community Foundation that we were selected to receive money and proceeds from that event. And I'll get emotional. If it weren't for that, we wouldn't be here. I mean, that allowed us to kick off this program in our community. And literally, I say, at least a half a dozen lives have been saved. Teens that absolutely were without hope. And then lives transformed.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Tammy, for sharing your family story. We are grateful to have Treehouse as a resource in our community. Maybe some of you learning that for the first time tonight. The power of a community foundation is that it functions as a catalyst for the good work that makes a city and community so great like Eden Prairie. And as you've heard tonight, the Eden Prairie Community Foundation is a hub for so much good in our community, from providing food and housing to making it possible for kids from low-income families to participate in activities such as sports, summer camp. The foundation is here for everyone.
And I'd like to remind you of the $15,000 match. So our first $15,000 that we raised during this program is doubled through the gracious gift of so many. So now is the time to take advantage of that. As we've heard, the foundation steps up when unexpected, such as a major health crisis, impacts our community. Each and every dollar donated will make a difference. The closer we can get to reaching our $100,000 goal, the more needs the foundation will be able to meet in the coming year.
Right. The more we can raise together, the greater the impact for our neighbors. As Jim just shared earlier, thanks to a number of local supporters, all gifts made this evening to a total of $15,000 will be matched dollar for dollar. Your donation tonight will have a double impact. So thank you for everyone who made a matching gift possible. We appreciate that. And one of our goals this evening is to have as many households as possible participate in giving. We appreciate, of course, every donation. And Jim, we have some exciting lead gifts to announce right now as well.
We certainly do. A family who wishes to remain anonymous has come forward with a $5,000 gift to help us get started. Now that's really something. Thank you so much to these longtime Eden Prairie residents for their generosity. We are grateful to Nancy Tira Lukens and Jeff Lukens, who are also making a very generous donation of $5,000. Thank you. Can any of you join these donors in supporting this leadership level? Traditionally, we've had some supporters for this event at $2,500. We hope some of you feel you can make a difference for the Eden Prairie community at this level. And I'm delighted to announce that we already have 3 gifts that have come in at the $1,000 level. Thank you so much to Bruce Hutchins, Carol Ruppel, and Joe and Carol Stabner. Thank you so much to these committed community members. We would love to see a number of other households join in at $1,000. Whether your gift is $1,000, $500, $100, or whatever amount you can do or are able and inspired to donate, know that we are grateful.
Carol Ruppel hired me years ago, 16 years ago, at Fox 9. A little fun fact for you there, Jim. Awesome. Thank you to everyone at you at home for investing in our community and our neighbors. We are deeply grateful. Giving is easy. All you need to do to get started is click on the Auction and Donations tab. It's really simple. Next up, another example of how the foundation has plugged in to address a community need. Last April, we witnessed the end of the Eden Prairie News, our community newspaper for the last 46 years. In response to the loss of this local voice for local news, the foundation gathered concerned citizens to come up with a solution. Well, here's an update on that project.
You know, we've been fortunate to have been named one of the best places to live in the United States repeatedly over the last few years. And one of the things that makes a community is the sense of community developed through a local newspaper. So when the Eden Prairie News was shut down after 46 years, we kind of became a news desert. And I felt the very great lack of communication within our community. So that's why I'm involved.
The Eden Prairie Local News really fills a need. I think that started when the local newspaper that we are all familiar with stopped publishing in April of 2020. There was nowhere to turn for local stories about what's happening in our community, what are the latest stories, the need that people have for understanding what's going on with their neighbors. And so that is the niche that the local news, EPLN, fills. It tells the story of us, both what's happening now, but historically what's happened in our community and the interesting people within our area.
Honestly, I don't think the Eden Prairie Local News would be happening if it were not for the Eden Prairie Community Foundation. The foundation has lent us a lot of expertise, particularly in the area of fundraising, They've helped with backroom organization. They've helped us with funding. They've given us a grant to help us pursue this Eden Prairie local news. And they've just been great supporters for us within the community.
The Eden Prairie Community Foundation was there from day one to really help get this effort off the ground. In its important role as a convener, the foundation offered the organizational capacity to help get this group of volunteers together on a weekly basis for many months, helping to provide guidance, just even the technological assist to host Zoom meetings, because we've been meeting virtually from the beginning. Advice on how a local newspaper, a local news entity perhaps could be started, and ideas of how we serve the community through these efforts.
When I think about the Eden Prairie Community Foundation, 4 words come to mind, actually. The word hub, because it is the center for so much of what goes on within our community. I think of the word community, I think of caring, and I think of essential. I don't know where our community would be without the help that the Eden Prairie Community Foundation has given us.
They have seen this community through so many changes in the last 40 years, and they have been at the helm, leading it, supporting it, and really just making sure that that collective vision is something that can be accomplished when we all work together.
Well, what a great example of the community coming together to make sure local news continues to have a strong presence in Eden Prairie. And what an amazing night this has been. It's been so great. Jim, before we wrap up things, though, we are excited to highlight a couple more of our amazing auction packages.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Tell us about the incredible Mexico Resort package.
We both have been there. It's a great place, especially after a long winter to go. The lucky winning bidder will have their choice of vacation in Cabo San Lucas, Nuevo Vallarta, which is where we went for my daughter's senior trip about 4 years ago, Acapulco, Riviera Maya, Cancun, Mexico, your choice. This is a 7-night stay for 2 people at a 4- or 5-star resort. Escape to a warm weather destination and immerse yourselves in natural wonders, scenic ancient ruins, inspired art, and some great, great food.
And we are ready. Everyone's ready after this winter and after these times. So it's going to be an exciting trip to the winter.
So nice, yeah.
Absolutely. Tom, what's our next item?
Well, let's take a look. This is a once-in-a-lifetime scenic flight experience for 2 people. It includes 2 planes. There they are. It's a T6D and a T34A for you aviation buffs, with an experienced pilot there or 2, 1 passenger in each plane, and you'll fly over the beautiful Minnesota River Valley, the metro area, out of a custom flight of your choice for 45 minutes, witnessing some of the great beauty we have in our area from a vantage point I bet you've never seen before.
Amazing. And this involves adventure,
right?
Antique aircraft, and the beautiful Minnesota River Valley. You can't go wrong with this.
That's a win all the way around.
It certainly is.
Yeah.
Remember, you have until 9 p.m. to place your final bids on all of our 30 auction items, and it's a great opportunity. We are so grateful for all of the support that has been shown tonight. Thank you to each and every one of you who has donated. And let's bring up the tote board. We just crossed the 80% mark. We are at $79,676. We have a ways to go, so make sure that when we are completed here, you've got another hour and 15 minutes or so to make sure you make your bids on the auction.
For now, I give it a golf clap. Just a golf clap.
That's right.
We're almost there. It has been an incredible evening that we've been sharing with you. We're so excited, so appreciative that you've joined us tonight. Thank you for supporting your community through the foundation. At this time, I'd like to offer a virtual toast to the Eden Prairie Community Foundation and the next 40 years, but Jim and I will also raise a glass. Thank you so much, Jim, to you too, everyone who's been believing in and supporting the foundation's work for so many years. And to close out our program, here are some happy anniversary messages from some of our community members. Here's to 40 more years of the Community Foundation.
Good night, everybody.
Have a great night.
Happy Happy anniversary to the Eden Prairie Community Foundation. Thanks for everything you do and for making this community what it has become today.
Happy anniversary, Eden Prairie Foundation, and many more.
This is Josh Swanson, Superintendent of Eden Prairie Schools. We work hard to inspire each of our students every day, and that takes partnership. I want to thank the Community Foundation of Eden Prairie for all of the support for our staff, our students, and our families. It's partners like this that allow us to be able to inspire each of our students every day. Happy 40th birthday. We look forward to many, many decades of partnership in the future.
Happy birthday to the Eden Prairie Community Foundation. Thank you for your 40 years of being an essential part of our community.
Thank you, Foundation, for the grant, and have a happy 40th anniversary.
Happy 40th anniversary to the Eden Prairie Foundation.
Happy 40th anniversary, and thank you so much for the scholarship.
Happy anniversary to the Eden Prairie Community Foundation. We are so grateful for all that you do to make a difference in our community and to help end hopelessness among teens by partnering with Treehouse.
Well, happy anniversary, Eden Prairie Community Foundation. It's been a great run, and it's even going to get better. Thanks a lot.
Happy anniversary, Eden Prairie Community Foundation. I just want to say thank you for all you've done for 40 years, and I hope you're going to be around forever. You've done so much for this community. Thank you.
Happy anniversary, Eden Prairie Community Foundation. Here's to 40 wonderful years of serving this community and the people in it, and here's to another 40 years of bringing us together and taking us forward.